Welcome back to another episode of MotoGP Mac, and today we're going to talk about KTM in the Catalunya test last week. Now, KTM mainly focused on a new chassis that they were back-to-back testing with the old chassis, and let me be very honest, the riders were very cryptic in their interviews after. They were just saying that there was positives and negatives to the chassis. They were also bringing up and testing on their new their 2022 aerodynamics package, and they haven't really run that this year, and they've actually run their old 2021 version, and that's just due to maybe the high downforce that they were planning or hoping to run this year. For me, I think KTM is one of the most interesting packages on the grid. They have their own philosophy. They're going along their own way with how they develop, ride, construct, a bike, and it's good to see in a way that they're doing it their own way. They're not following the normal trend, but I think at this stage, I think that is actually starting to hurt them. They're the only ones to construct their frame the way they do. They're the only ones on the grid that are riding WP suspensions. All of their riders have only ever ridden a KTM. They've never ridden anything else in the big class. So, I think there's a lot of scope for change there. And one of the things that I do note about KTM is that they seem to just throw parts at the problem and hope something sticks. And it's not kind of sat down and thought about in a way of like, okay, for the next 3 months we're just going to work on the chassis. Do you know what I mean? We're just going to work to make the chassis work with the suspension, or we're going to keep make the suspension work with the chassis. Do you know what I mean? It just seems like we're going to update this, we're going to update this, we're going to update this, and then mash it together and see what happens. And I think that's where KTM are starting to fall down. They don't have any direction for next year's bike. If I was Jack Miller going there, I'd be very worried about it, if I'm honest, because there is no direction there. So I do think, losing the concessions has hurt them big time, because they don't have, or like they had in the past, the opportunity to have Danny Pedrosa running around testing for them as much as possible. But look, the other side of the coin, I do think it's a great team. It's a great philosophy that they're following. If it was myself, I would definitely look at starting what could we change. And the first area I would always go for is the suspension. There's a lot of engineering data, a lot of experience in the paddock with Öhlins. Look at Jorge Martin just there quite recently. Öhlins found something for him that changed how he rode the last two races. So it's definitely something I would look at. I know they own WP, however, Honda used to own Nissan brakes, or does own Nissan brakes, and they realized that Nissan brakes weren't as good as Brembo, and what do all Hondas now run? Brembo brakes. So, look, performance is performance. If WP wouldn't be up to it, maybe they should make that call. But I would love to know your opinion. What do you think KTM needs? If you were in KTM or you were leading KTM, what would be the first thing that you would change? Leave it in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. I just want to take a minute to also thank you for watching my videos and the support that you've shown so far. If you haven't subscribed already and you would like to subscribe, it would mean an awful lot to me if you did. I'm starting this channel realistically so that we can all enjoy MotoGP together, with the aim of streaming a live video when the GP races are on.